All right, great. Okay, so yes, we are talking today about vision, mission, and values. And I do love this topic because I think that, especially for my clients who are just starting businesses, there's a lot of focus on the operational side of things. And vision, mission, and values tends to be something that we don't put a lot of concentration on until the honeymoon period of business is over, and then we start realizing that things aren't really jiving, and it's not, the business isn't feeling like we thought it would feel. And then we do an inventory and quickly realize, well, it's because we might not all be in agreement about what it is that we do here. So and especially after something so critical that's gone on as COVID, it is time to even do a little reinventing. I'm talking to a few of my clients right now about rebranding and about kind of digging deeper into who they are and what they do. A little bit about me. My name is Becky LaFranchi, and I have been in the hospitality industry, in many different facets of the hospitality industry, for about 30 years, in restaurants, front of house, in retail as manager. Um, I also am an interior designer and visual merchandiser by trade, and I have held a C-suite level position with a major home furnishings company, and I got a lot about big business and small business. And now I have BossLAB, which stands for Boss Like a Boss. And I created BossLAB branding and design a couple of years ago because, to me, my dream job is to help small businesses see their dreams come true. Many of my great friends and my sister are small business owners, and I've always been really involved with helping them, and decided that the type of help that I offered was something that other people might need. And so here I am now with BossLAB, and I'm having a great time. So for you too, for Cody and Caitlin, if we can just get to know a little bit about you, please introduce yourself and your business. How would you rate your vision, mission, and value statements today? And what would you like to learn from today's workshop?
So my business is called Osprey Metalworks. We actually just started going. Currently haven't done any jobs yet, but in the bid process. What we're looking into right now is helping. There's a Bitcoin mine in Hardin right now. They've converted Connex boxes into kind of their server stations. So we're going to help them out with some cooling issues on those. And then also the Crow tribe is looking to get into the marijuana industry and using Connex boxes for that. And so I'm currently in talks with the chairman on how we can help them actually come up with a design and build their boxes for them. So
Are you
right
an
now
electrician
we're
by
just
trade?
getting. No, I'm actually a heavy equipment mechanic by trade.
Got it.
But so we're kind of in the construction side,
Mm-hmm.
not really the electrician side,
Mm-hmm.
but like designing the boxes and making them fit their needs, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what we're into right now.
And you own the business?
Um, yes, yes, I
Congratulations.
just started it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
The whole world is out there in front of you.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes because I've been in the coal mining industry and it's very precarious, I should say.
It's true.
And that's
Yeah.
it's dying, so it's not going to be there. So I'm trying to look into the future and
Yeah.
find something that's more stable and work for myself. I should.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good for you for pivoting, and really good for you for coming to a workshop like this about vision, mission, and values so early on in your business. Because as I mentioned in the intro, it's something that actually you're so focused on just getting the business license and the insurance and the bonding and the, hiring people and getting clients and figuring out marketing and all of these things that take up so much time, that this almost feels like a, well, yeah, it's inside me. It's intuitive. It's, of course, people know me and they know, what we're about, but they don't. So it's really good that you're doing this from the beginning. And then Caitlin, nice to
Yes.
meet you. I'm Becky.
Thank you for having me. So yeah, my name is Caitlin Higfelt. I'm a cosmetologist by trade, and I'm just working independently right now. My goal is to open a salon, hopefully sooner than later. I've been doing hair for about 10 years. And I've always had kind of a vision for what I want,
Mm-hmm.
my environment that I want to work in, and kind of the team atmosphere. And I just haven't really found it here in Billings. And so I'm excited to hopefully, bring something a little bit different to the table. And I know to be successful, you do need to have a strong mission and vision, because otherwise, why are you doing it? I think in my industry, there's so much giving. It can be really, really draining if you don't have those vision statements. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm just hoping to kind of get a little bit more clarity. I know why I love doing what I do, but I hope to kind of just get a little bit more clarity on it.
Yeah. Well, you are speaking my language, because I'm actually on the call here today from my day job, I like to call it, where I work for my sister's spa company.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm the business development manager and the designer of the spa. And so the spa and salon industry is something that is very near and dear to me. And I have clients in the spa and salon industry, and know that employee base very, very well, and the customer base very, very well. So I could talk to you all day about that stuff.
Great.
What specifically are you hoping to learn about today?
Gosh, anything. I feel like I'm in the baby phase of, really nailing down what I'm looking for, to move forward.
Right.
So I think just a little bit of guidance, like the right way to go about like deciding on like your vision, mission, and value statements. Like I feel like there's so many different directions you can go with it.
Yeah.
So like just figuring out like the right fit for me. Yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing for me.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, good. Well, so my teaching style tends to be quite conversational and dialogue, really approachable. And I like to just sort of bring things down to, but how? But how do I do it? I like to inspire, and I like to get people dreaming and seeing the big picture, but I don't ever want to walk away and have them left in that space. I want to be able to provide tools for you both that you can actually action and understand and break down. One actually phrase that I came up with in the last group that I did with you all is taking language from the boardroom to the break room. And I know that when I Google things about vision and mission and values, it's quite corporate. The language is quite corporate. The structures are quite corporate. The process is quite corporate. And so I have kind of adapted, I think, to more of a small business way of working. So I hope that you find this valuable today. So for both of you are just in the very beginning stages, but this question really kind of is something that you should ask yourself throughout your years of being open. And that is, can you say that our company is truly living its core values? If it's something that we just write down because some formula told us that it needed to look and sound this way, and we put it on our website, and then we can't even remember what it says, and it's collecting dust and off we go, then we didn't do it right. And we should be living and breathing the company's core values. And it should really have an emotional impact on you and your employees specifically. And if it does, then it will definitely have an impact on your customers. But it has to get you and your employees in the feels first. So a few things that we're going to learn about today is why and if a company should have a vision, a mission, and a value set. You're going to see some great and some not so great examples. We're going to talk about how to create that vision, mission, and values, how to determine exactly who your stakeholders are, who are we talking to, and how to use your vision, mission, and values in everyday business. I also always like to be able to provide some tools for you. So I'll get to those at the end, but you're going to be walking away with some templates and things. Our agenda today is that we're going to start by talking about the importance of company values. I want you to really understand the why behind the why to get you hooked and believing that you should do this. We will dig into those examples. We'll be creating or starting to create, figuring out how to create your purpose, and then breaking down the elements of vision, mission, and values so that you understand what is what and what each role is, and then we'll get to what your final product could potentially look like. So the importance of your company values. Vision, mission, and values are always, or almost always used together. They are not interchangeable things. They each have their own definition. For me personally, it's not so important that you have a vision statement that says this, and then a mission statement that says that, and then your values. The most important thing for me is that you truly understand your purpose, your purpose statement. And if that ends up that the vision and mission is kind of one statement, that's fine. I always start with the values. Actually, I think a lot of workshops will walk you through what the mission is first or the vision first. I start with the values because I just find that they're the easiest things to connect to and to like say off the top of my head and my heart. And remember that when we are writing these statements, that we have two customers, and that is our external customers. Those are the people who pay us money, and our internal customers. Those are the people that we pay money for. And both of them, you need to have a customer mindset up for both of those groups, because in many ways as a business owner, you are serving your employees and you are trying to convince them to stay with you and to be happy with you and to work hard for you. So in that way, how you treat an external customer and an internal customer can be very, very similar. So a lot of small business owners kind of ask this question, like, I'm just a solopreneur, I'm just a small business. Do I really need to do this work? And here's my response to that. There are nearly 30 million small businesses in the US, and those small businesses employ 47.8% of all US workers. So almost half of all US workers are employed by small businesses. That is quite an impact. And if each one of us as employers is doing our part, then we really, really can make a big difference to employee experience. But even if you're a really small hospitality business, then you probably interact with maybe 20 customers a day. And that might be, clients that you have already procured, or via social media you're following, having potential customers, networking meetings. It's probably about 20 customers a day. So let's assume that you're open or working about 6 days a week. Over a year, that's 6,240 people. If we extrapolate that out, and we're assuming that we are trying to grow our customer base by about 10% every year, then that's 38,000 people in 5 years and 100,000 people in 10 years. Now, what I can tell you is that a lot of businesses, as I stated very early on, aren't really working on developing a true, meaningful vision, mission, and value statement until they're a couple years into the business. So if we look at these numbers, that means that we may have gotten, 25,000 people to know us when we didn't even 100% know ourselves yet. And so then it can be a little bit hard to like change the course of the ship. So great job for both of you for coming on so early on. There are some things that you do need to understand about your business before we can craft these vision, mission, and value statements. The first one is who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, and who you are as a business. You can't, the phrase of like, I leave my problems at the door, or, you know, I come to work absolutely is not true when you are a business owner. There is no difference between work, home, personal self, work self, no difference at all. And if you try to make a difference, then it just is, that's not going to work for you. So really, really, really knowing and accepting who you are is one of the first steps to being able to create this. The next is who you serve. If we serve everyone, then we serve no one. So being very, very specific about your client is super, super, super important. I do have some tools on creating a client persona, which is, you know, a real honed in picture of your ideal client. If you're ever interested in those tools, they're complimentary. I'm happy to share them with you. Just let me know. The third thing that you need to fully understand is the problem that you solve. So as an example, this is called in the corporate world a value proposition. And as an example, here at this spa, we solve 3 problems. The first one is stress. The second one is pain. The third one is problem in aging skin. Those 3 problems, solving those 3 problems allow us to talk to a lot of people. So you just narrow down 3 simple problems that you are solving in your business. So if it is for starting out maybe a hair salon, the problem that you solve might be, you know, we handle difficult hair conditions and hairstyles. It could be we are the fastest hair salon in the West. Nobody is faster than us, and we're precision. There are several different problems that you can come up with that you can say, we are the ones that solve this problem. The last thing that you really need to know is where are you going? Where are you going with this business? Are you looking to make it be public someday and sell it on the market? Are you looking to franchise your business? Are you looking to open more than one location? Do you want to be a Main Street mom and pop shop? Where do you see your business going for the future? Your company's vision, mission, and values are your true north. And when they're very, very well developed and they reflect wholly who you are as a leader and as a person, you will see that every single decision that you make for your business gets filtered through your statements, and your employees learn them as well. You will actually hire based on the values that you have set up, so that you're hiring like-minded people with you. And everyone learns to filter all decisions, all processes through your true north. So if you've heard of Simon Sinek before, several years ago, I want to say it's like 12 or 15 years ago now, he did a TED Talk that went really viral, and it was called Start With Why. And if you have not watched the full video, I highly recommend that you do that. I have a link here to it. It's about 17 minutes, so we're not going to watch it today. But I highly recommend that you go to YouTube and you just Google Simon Sinek Start With Why. There's a condensed video available, and there's the full video. Both of them are great. You get a lot of information out of the condensed one too. So first, what I want to ask you, I do these activities through my presentations generally. And the first thing that I want to ask you is, as we're crafting this vision, mission, and value statement, who do you believe your key stakeholders are? Who do you plan to be speaking to with your vision, mission, and value statement? And what do you think that person needs from you, from that statement? And I see that we have, Jason has joined us as well. So I would like to just throw it out there to ask you if you'd like, if anybody has an immediate response to any of these questions.
So I think, so like your key stakeholders, is that what you're asking?
Yep. So as you're crafting the vision, mission, and value statement, who do you believe your key stakeholders are?
I believe key stakeholders would be, well, first and foremost, myself.
Mhm.
I think those that are directly involved with your business, um, and then your clients and vendors.
Mhm.
I think those are probably some of the key stakeholders.
Mhm. That's who it would be for you.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And then when you think about those people, and like I want you to start to put pictures in your mind of like who you may have already scoped out as a potential client, you know, friends of yours who you've talked to about this business, and really think about the culture of your industry, how you speak to each other, the language that you use with each other. Be thinking about them and that communication style as you craft your vision, mission, and values. That's going to really help you make it stick and get people to listen to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So communication, right?
The
Is what you're talking about?
communication piece, like how you are wording it, so that, like I say, it doesn't become some corporate, you know, collection of words that just doesn't really, like buzzwords, like corporate speak, that doesn't really mean anything to you
Yes,
and your clients. You want this vision and mission and value statement to really, really come home. Does that make sense?
it does. Yes.
Yeah. And then how about for you, Caitlin, who you believe your key stakeholders might be?
I agree with Cody actually. I feel like it kind of all starts with, like me. I mean, so far it's just me and my business, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Further down the road, I think a lot of that is going to be distributed into like the employees.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that also translates over into your clientele as well. They can just feel like that kind of, your values, and if you're working,
Yeah.
if you're aligned with your values, they just gravitate towards that. I've worked in a salon where, I mean, I've seen it work for them. And so I think ultimately for myself, having that alignment and having it translate over to employees
Yeah.
next, obviously, and just keep them motivated to do what they're doing, because it is a hard job.
Yeah, I think that you're both in a really unique position, being at the beginning, and you know, the years are going to come, and how you feel right now will be diluted a bit over the experiences that you're going to have in the next coming years. So my recommendation to you both, as you begin this process, is the very first step I'd like you to do is to, I want you to, remember how I said in the last slide that you need to know where your business is going. Okay, so maybe your business is that we're going to go public someday and sell this thing for $1 billion. Maybe your business is that we're going to franchise someday. Maybe your business is that we're going to stay in our one little spot, but we're going to be in, you know, 2,500 square feet and have 30 employees, whatever it is. Or maybe it's, you know, we're going to have a little home body shop and it's going to be just a handful of us because we're craftsmen. Whatever that is, pick that point, go out 5 years or 10 years from now, and I want you to write a letter, a future letter, when you're talking to that group of people after all the success that you have achieved, and you're reminding them of why you started, and you're thanking them. You're saying, look at us, it's 10 years down the road, we've achieved our goals, we did this together, and I'm so grateful for you. And I want to remind you why, if you don't already know the story, why I started this business. I want to share that with you and write that out. That's going to get, when I say that this has to land and it has to come home and it has to pull the feels out, you're really going to be able to pull out some great insights that you have inside you that you can immediately put into your values or your vision and your mission statement. Jason, would you like to pop on and introduce yourself? I'm not sure if we have Jason there, but okay. All right. How does that sound, you guys?
That sounds great.
Sound good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's look at some examples. I want to bring you through some examples, and they're all good, but there's some that I like better than others. Okay, so this is a company that we work with here at the spa. They're called Farmhouse Fresh. They're located in Texas. They're a skincare company, and I really, really love their core values page. Now, first of all, what you should know is that they do have a core values page, which is super important on their website. I highly recommend that you make your core values very loud and proud for all of your clients to see. I love the conversational tone here. You beautiful, magical thing. You right away, they talk to you like a best friend, and they are, you can tell that they really care about how you feel, not just about what you do, but how you feel. They want you to immediately kind of connect with them, and you can tell that through their headline and how they write. I also love the simplicity of their core values, because right here they say, we pursue 3 passions. And then it's grow fresh daily, and they say a bit about that. Spa deliciously, and they say a bit about that. And rescue fiercely. This particular company is a farm, and they do farm rescues. They rescue horses actually with their proceeds. So they tell you a little bit about that. I'll show you in a few minutes another company that has page after page after page after page of core values and leadership principles and all of these things. But what I really like about what Farmhouse Fresh has done is just make it nice and simple and concise, but still super friendly. They also tell a bit about their roots and about where they come from, because that is important to them, and about who they have with them. So this is, I think, a great, here's some of the, you know, pictures directly from the farm and of their products, some things that they're proud of course, at the bottom. So they have this as an about us page, and usually people will not necessarily have it in their header links, but kind of down at the bottom. One recommendation that I would make if I were working with this company is that they state clearly, not just about the farm or about us, but that they say core values, core principles, company values, that they call that out specifically and give people a way to see what they're about. All right. The next company, I have to keep moving my little guy here, is Mission Hammocks. And Mission Hammocks is in Nicaragua. And I didn't know this before working with this company, but 10% of the population in Nicaragua have some sort of disability. Mission Hammocks pays a livable wage to people with disabilities to make these beautiful hammock chairs and lay down hammocks. And so this is the page that you learn about their company. I think that it is such a beautiful mission. I love the name, Mission Hammocks, and their product is incredible. My recommendation, if I were working with this company, would be to not be quite so humble. In servant leadership or in service and servant businesses, we tend to really, really kind of take ourselves down a bit and not brag. But they're doing such amazing work that I would actually say shout about that a little bit more. All right, the next company is Williams-Sonoma. This starts out strong with our promise is to nourish people's lives. This is not a link. It's not a hyperlink. It doesn't take me, there's nothing to click here. It doesn't, if I want to know more about that, I don't have a place to go. And then immediately I kind of get into what they do and what they sell. And for me, this About Us page doesn't have near enough about core values and too much about business. They do support a lot of different organizations and a lot of companies, and I like that, but it still isn't giving me that, like, but why, but like, who are you and why do you choose these companies? And then at the bottom, there's, you know, really just our quality and our design and our products, and it gets into looking a bit too much like a catalog. Okay, Whole Foods. They have several links, their mission and values, their core values, their leadership principles, and then something that I think is kind of fun, this declaration, and I'll show you that. So here's their mission and values page, and they have links to all of these other pages that I mentioned. Whole Foods also, I don't know if you're familiar with a Whole Foods, if you've been in a Whole Foods grocery store, but in a Whole Foods market near the cash lanes, they almost always have very large posters of each core value right at the cash lanes, so that every customer that comes through knows exactly what they're about. You can see their core values here. And it's these phrases: we satisfy and delight our customers, we promote team member growth and happiness. Those are on large posters right at the cash lanes in every Whole Foods. Their leadership principles are here, which I think is great, because if you want to attract employees that believe in learning and development, they really are invested in their own careers, they want to be led by leaders, they want to be led by teachers, this is going to be important to them. So this is not just something that you are sharing with your customers about who you are as a business, but your future employees are going to really, really be attracted to this. This is that internal and external customer thing. But then there's also this, our declaration of interdependence, they call it. I also like this because, again, I'm going to say that it's not so important to me that you have a vision statement and a mission statement and a values set, but that you have a purpose that means something for you. And you can write that in any way that you want to, as long as that purpose is coming across. You can write a manifesto, you can write a declaration, you can write a statement, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't have to fit that exact formula. So I do really like Whole Foods for that. All right. Union Square Hospitality Group is an amazing, amazing restaurant group out of New York, run by Danny Meyer, and he's very known for his customer service. I talked about him a lot in my last session with you guys about hospitality standards. And then Jose Andreas is one of my favorite celebrity chefs. He's incredibly philanthropic, and he has a great company and a great mission called Think Food Group. So I recommend looking at his page. But right now we are going to watch a video from my friend, actually, Brian Reynolds, who owns Anthem Coffee, which is a coffee company here in the area that I live in. They have about 6 locations, I think. And I absolutely love this video because it really tells the story of Anthem.
This beachfront photo is about to become part of an unforgettable vacation memory.
In this day and age, it's far riskier to play it safe than it is to actually take a risk. As a family, we've begun to say that Reynolds are risk takers. You know, growing up, I never thought we'd be in the coffee business. I played baseball, and baseball was life. In fact, I had a shirt that said, "Baseball is life, everything else is just details." That's how serious I took the game. And my parents supported my dreams and my endeavors and dreams of the rest of their kids too. Growing up, we played it safe. You know, we were just your average Joes. I never went to college, and my folks never even graduated from college. We've never run a business before. We just knew how to do projects as a family really well. We knew how to work together. We knew how to run in whatever lane we were best at in order to get the job done. 11 years ago, you guys got started.
It was you.
Well, it was you and Alicia when Alicia was working for Delano's, and then she brought about the business as far as she thought that it would be a good fit for our family. And that's when we started talking about it a little further. And it filled a need for employment for you, and I thought it was the right idea. And Mom and I just thought that it would be fun to do a business. Mom and I have always been very project oriented anyway, and did projects well together, and we figured that we'd take it to the next level and start a business together.
Playing it safe ended when my parents decided to answer the call to adopt. And it shaped everything that we do today with Anthem.
So a few weeks ago, I was asked by one of my coworkers why we chose the name Anthem for our coffee shop. It's strong, it's solid, it represents. And we wanted people to find out what their anthem is in life, what their passion is, what wakes them up in the morning, what brings joy to their lives, what gives them purpose. And for us, we found our purpose in 2002 when we became foster to adopt parents. And we thought, if we can make a difference in one person's life, it will begin the trickle effect to change the community. And it didn't stop with just adopting one. Out of the 8 kids that we fostered, we adopted 4. And not only were they changed in the process, we were changed in the process. And what I love about this is we've taken that and used a lot of that philosophy in building out Anthem, because we've taken things from old construction sites that would have just been thrown away or discarded. And we've seen the value and the potential in these pieces of architecture, and we've dusted them off and we've scraped off the peeling paint, and we've put them in Anthem to be admired, to be a part of who we are, reclaiming, repurposing, reconditioning. It's about who we are, and put that into relationships, put that into community, and that's our Anthem.
Our mission is that daily we would show heroic hospitality to everybody who comes in, no matter where you're from or who you are, or whether we know you or not. There's not a stranger in the world to us. My parents really are the unsung heroes of this whole operation. They've made extraordinary sacrifices financially, emotionally, relationally, everything to make this thing with Anthem work. I wouldn't know some of the amazing people that I know, and some of the amazing people that have met in Anthem wouldn't have had that place to meet at had it not been for them. My mom does all the back end bookkeeping, financial stuff. She's a wizard at it. My dad, it's like Jack Bauer and Chuck Norris combined when it comes to fixing things and building tables and working with his hands. They're champions, and they've always taught me that it's okay to fail as long as you fail forward. They've created an opportunity for me to have an environment to thrive in and to learn business and to try new things, to innovate, to be daring. And that's the greatest gift they could have ever given me. Greater than a college education, greater than anything else. Getting to work alongside them, do work that matters, and be a part of changing people's lives with my folks. Our hope is that as you come to Anthem day in and day out, you'll discover your Anthem, your purpose, your mission in life, and that you'll be able to live life to the fullest. That's why our tagline is live loud. When you drink Anthem, you live loud and you get done what needs to get done. So go ahead, take a risk, live loud, step into your Anthem. We'll hope to see you soon.
All right. Okay. So now I'll come back to you guys. I love that video, and I'd love to hear some of your reflections about it. What do you think when you watch that?
It's just kind of inspiring, really, the way that he's talking to, whoever's watching the video. It's kind of just encouraging, and yeah, I just feel inspired watching it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. How about you, Cody?
I feel the same way. You kind of like how they built their business and they also live their life.
Hmm.
It seems like the way they run their business, you know,
Hmm.
they adopted children and then
Hmm.
brought them into the business, but then they also like put, you know, architecture, it seemed, into their business, you know, the same way that they brought, you know, built their family as well. You know, they brought these kids, you know, that were, I don't want to say they were discarded, but you know,
Hmm.
they, you know, obviously they fostered them, you know, brought them in, and then they went and then found these items that were discarded the same
Right.
way and picked
Right.
them up and made them into something new, you know, and it
Special.
all comes together. Like that's how they run their business. That's how they live their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah, there's some things that I think are really, really key takeaways out of Brian's video. And one is that you don't really hear him talk about the coffee business at all. They talk about their brand and they talk about their business, but they don't talk about like a quality cup of coffee and what goes into that. They simply are talking about who they are as people, how fiercely they love, how hard they try, how they never give up, and how we as the listener are perfectly capable of believing and translating those messages to how they must treat me. I would assume that if I go to Anthem, I'll be treated like family, I'll be treated warmly, I'll be given the best cup of coffee, because these are clearly people that don't give up and that really love trying new things and love being the best. They also have kind of really narrowed down, like he said, their tagline is live loud. One of their I don't know if it's their vision or their mission statement is heroic hospitality, and that's how they have a whole list of behaviors for their employees under that heroic hospitality guideline. Very simple, boiled down to 2 words, both of those, but you just understand immediately what it must feel like. So I can send the link to that. They're called Anthem Coffee Company, and they actually have that video right on their website in their About Us page. So I recommend watching it again as you're looking for material for yourself. Okay. So now I want to walk you through kind of creating that purpose and finding your why. I think Brian did a really good job of describing what their why is. And so now we're going to talk about how do you get there. And there's a gentleman named Jim Collins who wrote a book called Built to Last, and he identified 5 important characteristics of a company's core purpose. And that's these 5: that it's inspiring to those inside the company, that it's something that is as valid 100 years from now as it is today, that it should help you think expansively about what you could do but maybe aren't doing now. It should help you decide what not to do. And it's truly authentic to your company. And by your company, I mean you. So what's great about a vision and mission statement is that they don't have to be industry specific. So if we were to take this vision right here, bringing joy to people's lives, this could be a coffee shop or a spa. If we take this one, making ordinary days extraordinary, this could be a barber shop or a diner. It doesn't have to be industry specific at all. So here are some questions that I want you to be thinking about as you're developing your vision, mission, and value statement. And the first one, we'll just take one of these, and if you can give me what your response would be to just one of these questions, and that would be number 1, what would be lost in the world if your business ceased to exist? Number 2, why would anyone dedicate their precious time, energy, and passion to your company? And number 3, why do you spend your precious time, life savings, family, energy on this business? What is it that's driving you? Again, we're really looking for that, kind of deep down, like, why are you doing what you do? Do you have a question you'd like to answer out of those 3?
sure. I'll answer, why do you spend your resources and life savings? And let's see here. So I do it because I feel like working a 9 to 5 that I have in the past, I don't get a sense of fulfillment in that. And I feel like that can directly affect those around me. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I started this business to better myself. And then if I can take care of myself, then I can focus on those around me as well. You know, I feel like you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. And, you know, and it can't be dependent on other people, you know, because I have a lot of people that depend on me.
Mm.
And so I'm putting all my energy and money and focus to make this successful in order to accomplish that.
Love it. Love that.
Yeah.
Before I make my comments, I'm gonna come back to you, Caitlin, and which question would you like to answer?
I actually was thinking along the same lines as Cody. You know, I've been so busy to the point where it's like I have nothing left to give. And so like
Mhm.
having that balance and that why is really helpful. You know, you get those people that come in and sit in your chair and it's like, oh yeah, that's why I do this. You know, it kind of
Mm.
comes full circle just because of the people that I work with and that I get to see every day. It's not always just a give situation. Sometimes it's like, oh, like that conversation was really, you know, like fulfilling to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that kind of like brings back, you know, every now and again, it's like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this. And I think clients feel the same way. They feel like they're receiving a service, but it's not just a service. It's great conversation. It's friendship. It's, you know, they're getting educated on the product and like the why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know.
Mhm.
So it's kind of just like that full circle of, yes, it's draining and exhausting. And I put a lot into it, but selfishly, I kind of get a lot out of it, you know, from my clients as well.
I love that you use that word. And this, even this work that we're doing right now, I'm so focused on you specifically as we prepare your vision, mission, and value statements, because that is what is going to be the lifeblood. And without this work, even these few questions that we've asked so far, I don't know that you would have identified those things about yourself and that they would be even relevant for a vision, mission, or value statement. And Cody, I really love this personal place that you come from about how this is a new you. This business is allowing you to meet a self that you always knew was there, but didn't have a place to be. And that you get to work on bettering yourself so that you can enrich others' lives. Getting that message out there that that's important to you means that you're going to attract people that have that same value. If you tell people, this is what I value people who are constantly striving. I value people who don't look at the coal industry and say, well, I guess that's it. I'm going to hang it up. I guess there's nothing else for me. But they just keep reaching and keep searching and keep trying to figure out what it is. If you say that that's what you value, you will find people like that that want to work with you and that want to work for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And Caitlin, for you about this caretakerness, you know, and this that you are giving, but that you need to get something back. And everyone in your industry is feeling that exact same way, that we're constantly pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing it all out, but that we have to acknowledge that we do need some of it coming back to keep that energy flow going. You know, the tide goes out, but it comes back in, and that's what keeps the world moving. So really being cognizant of that and not being afraid that that is a selfish place to be, and making statements that say, I hire and I work for, you know, women and men who give and give and give of themselves, and we're here for each other. We're a squad. We fight for each other, and we're here to lift each other back up, make each other feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys starting to see how some of this work and, like, you know, answering all of these kind of weird questions is going to help you develop this vision, mission, and value statement that will mean something to you and stand out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. All right. Okay. So the actual elements of this, we have a vision, mission, and values. And the vision is really future focused. And it's about changing the world. It's like, you know, that 10 years down the road, if we could do anything, if we could accomplish anything, what would that be? And why in the heck does that matter? Why should it matter to someone else? It should be audacious and aspirational and inspirational and concise. So we won't go through the questions, but I have this in a handout for you. And these are just more questions to get you exploring and finding out, you know, what it is about your vision that makes you stand out in your industry. And at the end of it, you should have something that's kind of like this, that you can say 5 years from now, my name of your company will do this by that. So what are you going to change? Who are you changing it for? What is that big dream that you are almost scared to say out loud? The next piece is the mission. And mission is about right now. It's like what we do and our purpose right this minute. It's realistic. It's about people more than the world, like specific people more than the whole world. And we're really like telling them how. We're being very specific about what it is that we do. So in the simplest terms, it's your declaration of your business's purpose and the reason why you exist. Again, I've given you 10 questions here that you're going to kind of list through, and you can use these like a workbook. In the handout, I actually have lines that you can kind of use it just like a little workbook and work through and craft your mission statement. And at the end, you're going to come up with a statement that's kind of like this: that you are going to do what, for who, through how. And that's the formula that you can start with. But honestly, it can be any formula for you. Like it can be something as simple as live loud. My son is a chef. And the mission statement, I actually have it in a slide coming up. But his mission statement is, we just want to feed you. And he lives that mission statement in every possible way, every possible day. And then your values are the promise, the purpose, the people, the passion. That's who it is that you're talking to. That's what you want to come through in your set of values. They should be living always. And it really is explaining behaviors and principles and mindsets for how you and your team show up. Instead of questions for this, I like to use brand characteristics, and that we're pulling some of these words out and creating statements or something around that with the brand characteristics. So we're going to start with the values. I'm going to come back to the previous slide, and I want you to just look at the slide and choose maybe two or three that stand out to you. And what is it specifically about those words that stand out to you? And again, I will make sure that you get this in your workbook. It's all in there. What's something that's standing out to you, Caitlin?
I chose educated, creative, and authentic.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Can you tell me a little bit about how you might use the words educated and creative together? And the reason I ask that question is because it can feel like education comes with protocols. You know, you do it this way. And so it can almost be that it takes some creativity away. So how would you explain that to people, that you're educated and creative?
So I just want to, at the forefront of my business, I think it's really important to do continued education, really be knowledgeable of your products that you're using, you know, being educated and also educating, you know, your client base is super important. But the whole basis of hair, you know, and going to school for it is being educated in it, learning the hows and whys so you can break the rules or so you can be more creative with it.
I love that. I love that. There's actually a quote about that.
Yeah.
There's a quote from an artist about, I learned the rules so that I know how to break them.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be the stylist I am without the education I had. You know, lots of like job shadowing, lots of assisting, and tons of classes, you know, that sometimes you only get a little tidbit of information out of, but you know, you take, everyone gets something different out of whatever classes you're taking, and it kind of creates the stylist or, you know, employee that you are today, and all in different ways, you know. But I think, I mean, I don't think in the hair world you can be creative without that basis of education underneath you. You know, I don't think you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, creativity without education is a bit of a mess, and nobody wants to walk around with that on your head. Right.
Exactly. So it's like organized chaos.
Yeah. And then education without creativity is like too uniform, right? It's too regimented. So I love that you picked those words, but I would really like drive into that, the connection of those words, and come up with like, you know, what does that mean for me? Right?
Okay.
Good. Cody, how about you?
I chose focused, trustworthy. I also chose creative, which is funny out of all those words. So I chose a fourth one. I chose self-disciplined as well.
Yeah, good.
So
good. And why don't you tell me about your combination of words there and what made you choose that? How do you think they work together?
well, I think that I chose self-disciplined because I feel like when you are going to be running your own business, you know, you're going to need self-discipline. I think that motivation only goes so far.
Yeah.
That, you know, you're going to have those days that you aren't motivated. And then on those days, that's when that discipline is going to have to kick in.
Yeah.
Focused, I think, is something that is important. You know, you don't want to be so scatterbrained when you're trying to get things done, you know, for your clients and for yourself. And trustworthy, you know, you got to be able to be held accountable to your word and be held accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
And I love the trustworthy and focused together there, especially because I'm going to assume that the product that clients are buying from you, when they're at the beginning stages of the buying process, it's probably a good investment that they're about to make. It probably feels like a big project. They're probably not 100% sure. And they need to trust that you know how to, like, we don't need to do that, or that's going to come later. We need to focus on this. And that you can say it clearly and they trust you when you say it. And then the creativity, tell me a little bit about that.
Creativity, I think that there's a lot of problem solving, and as a leader, you know, that's probably one of your main things, is becoming a problem solver. And sometimes, you know, there isn't always a handbook to tell you how to, you know, overcome these problems and challenges. and therefore, you have to become creative in, and use what the resources you have in order to accomplish, the goal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think that, you have to be creative in a lot of your work.
I experienced isn't up here, but that's the word that pops up for me when I hear you say that you are an experienced problem solver, that you've had time in the field and you've had time with, you've been faced with many different challenges in your particular industry, and that the problem solving aspect, the creative problem solving, is something that really drives you. And that means you're not afraid of a challenge, because you like the creative problem solving. If it's an easy job, then you're like, meh, sure, we'll do it. But like,
Yeah,
those aren't the ones that kind of get me going. I want the mess. I want the tough stuff. I like the hard
Right.
stuff. Yeah. Does that make sense?
it does. Yes.
Yeah. And then Cody, what I want you to do as you're developing this is build those. You're right about the self-discipline, and you're going to change all of those statements from I need this as a business owner, I need this, to we need this. My employees, I am self-disciplined. And then that means that I'm going to hire people who have self-discipline. Because one of the problems with
Absolutely.
being self-disciplined is that we assume other people also have discipline. They do not. It is not a natural skill. It's not a natural talent. It isn't something that everyone has. And so we aren't really as good at teaching discipline, because to us it comes naturally. So how do I explain to you why my eyes are blue? Like, they're blue. Like, it just is the way that I'm built. I don't know how to tell you to be self-disciplined. I just need you to be self-disciplined. So you need to know that that matters to you, and then put that in your recruiting.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So then we just come to what this, final product could potentially look like. These are a couple of one-pagers that I've done for my clients. And I like to pull everything together just on one page. This can be translated then to a web page. It can be, we have it in our RFP. I don't know if you're familiar with what RFPs are, or RFIs, but they're basically brand books, or like, concept books. They tell the story about what our business is. So I'll have the vision here, the mission statement. We didn't talk about strategic objectives in today's workshop, but this is sort of like how we measure everything that we say we want to do. So if over here in the mission statement, we say that we want to create transformative physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness experiences, how do you measure that? That's not something that, like, did we do that or didn't we do that? I don't really know. That's, something that people are walking away with. And of course we have some feedback, but on that specific thing, I don't know that I could measure that. So these strategic objectives tend to be something that's a little bit more measurable, so that you can really know whether you're doing it or not. And then up here in this heading, it can be our shared values, our core values, our company values. I think in my business, I have 10. This business has 9. You can use 5, you can use 3, like Farmhouse Fresh did. This is what I'm talking about with that word, with the list of attributes. I like choosing a word and saying, like, this is our value. We value energy, and this is what we mean by that. We value intention. This is what we mean by that. Because it really helps me in my everyday language, especially as I'm leading a team, to kind of look and assess at, like, does this person that works for me have a spirit of hospitality? Is this person friendly? Just real simple words that I can measure. And then this one is my son's business, actually. This is his statement. We just want to feed you. Kind of the same general layout that I use, and I mix things up a little bit. But the strategic plan, the whole strategic plan includes his vision, his mission statement, 5 strategic objectives, and 7 core values. So included for you guys, I have a template here. This is in Canva. I don't know if you're familiar with using Canva, but it is something that almost every business owner eventually uses in their social media. You can create a bunch of graphics for it, brochures, all kinds of stuff in Canva. The pro site is $12 a month, but the regular site that's free actually has a lot of features. So most business owners end up using this. That's where I created this template, and I'll share it with you and you can use it there too. I believe it can also be saved as like PowerPoint. And then also what you'll receive from me is a workbook that really kind of goes in depth on like everything that we talked about today, but you can do this when you have sort of the space and time to really answer these questions that we've been talking about. So that's what I have for you guys for your presentation today. Do you have any questions for me right now about a vision statement or mission or your values?
So I think for me, do you want to be clear on like your mission and values separately, or can it be like a combined statement?
So technically, they are not interchangeable. That there's a vision, a mission, and values.
Yeah.
For me, the formality of that doesn't really matter. But what I would say is that if you combine anything, combine the vision and mission and just call it a purpose statement, but lay out your values. Lay those out separately and clearly, because those are behaviors. Those, or they can translate to behaviors that you can use in building a team and how you treat people, how you talk to people, how you message things. It's important to me that the values would be a separate set.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
How is these three things affected your career in business?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I would say this, along with branding, like really understanding my brand. I am a brand designer, and so I would say the two things have been critical in allowing myself to be who I am in my business, and to not ever be distracted with what other brand designers might be doing, what they might look like, what they might, how they might, you know, what they might deliver. It really gets me to know exactly who I am and who my client is, and how I want to talk to people. And it allows me to just be myself at work. I never have to put a face on at work. I never have to, you know, kind of find a way to package something. Listen, I cuss. I said last time, I'm a cusser. I'm so proud of myself for going through presentations when I'm not cussing, but I cuss in my business all the time because that's part of my brand and it's part of who I am. And I value being straightforward and a straight shooter. And I say that clearly and plainly. So that's a long answer, but basically it has helped me attract the right people and repel the wrong people, so that I don't want clients that I don't really vibe with. And so it really helps me to know exactly what this business is about and the best people that I could possibly help.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you guys think of any more questions,
sounds like it.
Then please, oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it sounds like it's pretty beneficial. That's what I was gonna say.
Yes, yes, I definitely think so. I definitely think so. It's a crucial step that too many business owners overlook. But if you have any questions for me, please feel free to email me. My email address is Becky, BECKY, at bosslikeaboss.com. And then you can find me on Instagram or Facebook at the Boss Bestie. And you're welcome to message me on any of those if you have any questions.
So much.
Thank you.
You guys have a
Thank you.
great day.
Thanks.
Thanks, Becky. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.